What is going on, everybody? According to Low Elo, we
Yep,
got something new for you today.
we
This
do.
this actually was an idea from Rayanne, my fiance. So shouts out to her because
Wait,
this
can I
was,
can I just call her our manager from now on?
dude. I wanted actually. I was like, you know what? You suggested this. You should like pop on every once in a while and like
Right.
just join us.
Is she our technically our producer?
I guess she's
Title.
our title. She has some really fucking good ideas.
She does.
I need to like start paying her or something just to.
Right.
But yeah, Rand, thank you. This is a great idea. So, I guess even before that, guys, we're gonna try to commit to doing 2 episodes a week now. It's it might be a little tough just because I think it's just tough because this month we got fucked over by lack of patches.
Yeah.
So content's been kind of slow, but with the idea of doing 2 episodes a week, what Rand suggested is we go through champions by release date and we compare them to how obviously some champions have gotten reworks. The ones that who haven't, maybe we can compare how their kits were back then versus now. Like for instance, today we're gonna start with Alistar and Annie, and how do they hold up in 2022?
Right. Right. And it's funny too because just like as a brief overview of their kits and stuff, these two champions are relatively similar from when they started to where they are now, which I guess means that it's good champion design. But no, this is gonna be good. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It'll be fun to see who's really similar and who's totally different beyond the ones that we already know, like GP, um,
Yeah, all
and
the major overhaul ones.
right, and Scion and whatnot. But
And I feel like we're gonna find some stuff out that we might not even actually realize or get
right,
reminded of. Like I
right,
know if we get to Master Yi, like the whole, he was playing AP Master Yi and all that shit. Like yikes,
yeah.
like what was going on there?
So there'll be some fun stuff for sure, for sure.
So yeah, guys, this is gonna be like 1 of 2 episodes a week,
Yep.
and we're doing this for fun. So again, if you know what, if we're approaching a champion, we can announce what we're doing like next week. So like for instance, today we'll do Alistair and Annie, and then next week we do Ash and Fiddlesticks. Maybe if someone who is a main of them or really enjoys that champion could join us and they could talk with us, and
Yeah.
that's another idea too.
Also, I think for new champions, we'll have to do them probably upon release. So we won't do those on the patch notes. We'll do them here. And that's the only ones that'll be out of order because it's impossible to not be out of order with the way
Right.
Riot releases champions and stuff. Um, but you guys can let us know what you guys think or how you guys would like us to do new champions. We're open to suggestion on that regard. That's for sure.
Yep. Yep. All right. So yeah, without further ado, we're gonna start with our boy Alistair,
The Moo Cow.
released February 21st, 2009. Man, so
Wow.
one of the original 20.
Right.
There's 20. Yeah, there's.
And
I think
just
there's
just a
20.
quick note, the last patch that he had any changes was patch 11.11.
Over a year ago. Well
Yeah.
over a year ago. Actually, no. What patch? No, it'd be just about a year. We're like
Almost
on.
almost exactly a year.
Okay.
But
Wow.
like, does this champion need changes? Let's find out.
I mean, think about it. He's still being played in pro.
I know. Not currently, he's not meta right now, but he's a
He pops up every now and
he
then,
does. He does. He has his place, that's for sure.
especially with like hard engaged tanks. I mean, people are still
Yes.
playing Leona and stuff, and
Right.
Alistair's just right there to knock you away. So
Yep. Yep.
surprising. All right, so let's go over his current kit.
Yeah,
And
we'll
to
start with current
see
kit and then we'll show you guys the history.
how does it hold up in 2022? So his passive is every enemy champion he stuns or displaces with pulverize, headbutt, blah blah blah. Every time a minion dies, he gains a stack. At 7 stacks, he will heal. Any is it the same heal for everybody? All nearby. Okay. See, I
Yes.
didn't realize it was all nearby allies. Is it minions too?
Nearby allied champions get double the amount
it.
of what Alistair gets. But I don't know. I don't think he heals minions anymore.
See, that's interesting. So I
You know what? Actually, I'm pretty sure he doesn't anymore because in his old kit he could, and it was broken.
hmm.
stop someone from last hitting by healing the wave real fast. Yeah, it was actually pretty gross.
So let's see. How do you feel about a passive? I mean, you could just sit in lane. I mean, if you do his abilities, obviously you're gonna get the stacks. But if you just stand there, 7 minions die. How do you think that compares to other like champions like right now?
Bro,
Is that
his heal is shit.
it is 25
25 to
level 1.
161 based on level. At level 18, you're healing 161. That's shit.
Here's a thing. You're probably not gonna make it to level 18.
Exactly. That's my point. His healing shit, but he's not known for healing. That's just like
Sure.
a little added bonus effect, I guess. And I guess if you wanted to, I wouldn't recommend this, but you could run Moonstone on Alistar, and when you pop people up and knock people away, you heal with that, and then you get more healing, I guess. But his healing is shit. He's not designed for that. He's definitely designed for the tankiness, and I think the healing just is like reminds me of like the Maokai healing a little bit. I mean, obviously the Maokai one is a lot greater, but this is just kind of like it stops you from dying so quickly kind of thing. It's like, oh, it may take an extra auto attack or two to kill him.
I mean, it's 25. I guess it's decent for early lane sustain. So think of like if you're running fleet, I'm pretty sure fleet heals way less for that.
I don't know, but this is like a sixth of a health potion, and it takes more than 6 times as long to stack that amount of minions.
Well, yeah, it's because
if you do it without mana.
Unless it's a caddy wave, it's gonna be it's gotta be a full minion wave, and then
Yep.
yeah, and then one.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah. Not. I think it's. You don't pick Alistar for this. We'll say that.
Right. Right. And the other weird thing too is like I didn't even notice this there's like a slight cooldown. You got 3 seconds before you can roar, but you can actually stack them up, which I think is important if you are looking at helping a champion wave clear, like a pretty massive wave. Like you're not going to get that extra heal, and that actually sometimes at certain points of the game when there's like 20 minions there, they actually can do a lot of damage. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's actually just a little side note, but not like we said, it's really more or less ineffective to his kit, and I gotta wonder why they actually even kept it around instead of giving him something else that's more useful. But who knows?
Maybe they just didn't know what else to do with him.
That's very possible.
It's like,
extremely possible.
All right. So I guess we can talk about his like kit, all 3 of the abilities like as one instead of just individually going in, because they're like.
Yeah, his whole kit is a combo.
Right.
Other than the ulti, but even the ulti, I guess it can be part of a combo. So yeah, I mean, his Q is the pulverize. That's the knock up.
Can we really quick? Can I just say, when are we gonna change this icon? It looks like a fucking penis. From far away.
Okay,
I know it's
well,
his fist.
fair.
I know it's his fist.
I never thought of it that way.
But like, think about it in game where it's
fair.
small. It kind of looks like a dick.
I mean,
you think how like have you heard that thing like
I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm just weirded out
like,
by it.
Like, have you seen those things where like there's like conspiracies where like the Little Mermaid artists like put penises in the background or whatever?
Yeah.
Do you think Riot did that? They're like, haha.
Good question.
I'm sick of drawing this fucking cow every goddamn day, so I'm just gonna put a dick in there.
Ha ha ha. I just peed in my basement.
Yeah, his whole thing, I mean, you don't necessarily have to use his whole kit in one combo. There's some pretty like disgusting, like normally
Flash as a replacement, but well, we haven't got there yet.
Right.
Let's get through the Q and the W, and then we'll talk about the combo. I think that's the best way to go about it, because otherwise we're getting ahead of ourselves, I think.
So okay, one thing I did not notice is the Q stuns.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize it was a stun. I always considered a knock-up and a stun to be more or less the same thing.
Interesting.
Because it knocks it. I mean, I don't think it. I guess it matters, because if you're like Karthus channeling an ulti, the stun is an interrupt. But so is the knock-up. So I guess it doesn't matter. Because a knock-up is a... Let's see. Airborne is a forced displacement in a specific direction to a specific point. It's immobilizing, so it's an interrupt. So it doesn't... I don't know why they also include stun, because the difference between a stun and a snare is that it's an interrupt.
Right.
So that's weird. I don't know why that it has both on there. Maybe that's just an old relic that they never got rid of, considering how they used to interact, maybe.
I'd be curious to go into a game and see that now, because, like, maybe it has a little stunned, like, what's the word?
Little squiggly do?
It shows, like, it says stun where the character's name is or whatever. I wonder if it says that. I have no idea.
It probably just says airborne, honestly. I feel like airborne would override stun, considering it's the same thing but more.
That's fair.
One thing to note is Alistar's ability do scale off of AP, and there was a time. Not saying you should do it. His ratios aren't that generous anymore. There was a time where AP Alistar could actually one-shot people with a full combo, and that was pretty gross.
I mean, I know in Earth, playing like AP Alistar in Earth is pretty disgusting, because you can just like kind of perma CC the person while I mean, like, look at 50% scaling on Q, 70% on a headbutt.
Yeah.
That's pretty gross. That's pretty big.
It is.
But again, you know, if you're playing seriously, you're not gonna build that.
Right. But yeah, that's pretty much it for his Q. It's a pretty straightforward skill. One thing to note too that I didn't mention, or that we didn't mention earlier, is all of Alistar's skills are pretty costly in terms of mana, and he has a tiny mana pool. I mean, fucking tiny mana pool. So it, like, once you go all in pretty early, you're not doing that again for a while.
Plus, I mean, I guess you could go
Fimble winner if you want to add mana.
Could go Fimble. What I don't play support that often, so please help me. What I mean, do you go the AP Targon's item?
Yeah, you do go AP Targons because there's
mana
no
regen,
point for the
right?
AD. Yeah, there's no point for the AD one. So it's relic. Yeah, you go Relic Shield instead of Pauldrons. You go Relic Shield, and then typically you build Locket. I think if you were playing a solo lane Alistar, you'd probably go with either Frozen Fist or Sunfire. You might even go Chem Tank just to run at people. But yeah, typically you're just building off tank more or less. I mean, Alistar makes good use of items like Redemption. He does not make great use of items like Ardent Sensor. Though he can activate it with his passive, it's incredibly difficult to actually use.
If you go Font of Life.
Right. Font of Life is not. You could get with Font of Life. He's got a wealth of options to pick in that green tree. And actually, I wonder how he would be even with Glacial. I wonder if that would bring
it's probably really good.
A different wrinkle.
I mean, that kind of... I mean, moving into his E, that kind of makes his E a little bit better with the ice fields.
Yeah.
You're going to get your E proc off.
Yeah. I think... Did we pass over the W?
Oh, yeah, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
He's got a couple builds just because he is a heavy CC champion. That's what he does. Similar to Leona, is a heavy CC champion designed to keep you or put you where they want to put you. Alistar's great at that, and that leads me into his headbutt.
This is your main engage.
Yeah.
Unless you're gonna want a flash Q, but the W is good just because obviously you could do the WQ combo.
Right.
You don't have to do that. You could save an ally just by knocking some motherfucker away. You can disengage super heavily.
Right.
Doing it like Wing someone into a wall is pretty gross because where the fuck are they gonna go?
Right. But you can also W them over a wall, so be careful with that.
Right.
Also, the W is a dash, and it does get you to the target's location. When you arrive, you knock them back 700 units over a half second. Excuse me, a half a second. And when they land, they're still stunned for a quarter of a second. So it says the stun is for 3/4 of a second, but because half of that time is them being knocked back, you still have a quarter second when they land for them to not be able to move. So that's actually important to note because it does actually mean that they are stunned as well as airborne.
Yeah, you could even use this as like a gap closer. Like if
Yes.
there's an enemy minion wave, you could just W to an if you know if you realistically think you're not going to be able to hit the WQ, you could W to an enemy minion that's right next to the target, and then Q whatever the fuck you want to do.
Can he
If you
W
need
to
to,
him? I don't think he can W to a minion.
yeah, you can.
Can you?
Yeah, you can knock the
I
minion
don't play.
back.
I don't play enough Alistar, honestly.
Yeah, you can use it literally as like get over a wall or something. Like if
Okay.
you're if you're walking a lane in your red side and you gromps over the wall, as long as you have vision, you can W gromp. You literally fly over the fucking wall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um. So this is like you said, your main engage. And typically because of the way that they went ahead and reworked this when they had given him more of an overhaul, you can, as you're flying through the air, you can pre-buff the Q pulverize for the knockup. It used to be in the past that you had to time that shit perfectly, and I'm very grateful to Riot for fixing that.
Yeah, I mean it was actually very difficult to fucking figure that out.
It was, yeah, you were, if you could do it, you were really good at the champion. And now it's like, oh well, any monkey could do it. But like Dean said, it's a good form of engage. He gave you some tips on how to use it too. One of the ones that you see professionally sometimes is the flash pulverize. So you flash and knock them up instead of using the W, and then you headbutt them backwards. So like typically you'll see that in bot lane, or um you could see, an Alistar with the flank, flashing in on the ADC, headbutting the ADC to the front line instead of allowing the ADC to just take pot shots from the back line. Or any carry, really. It doesn't have to be the ADC, but typically you see it on the marksman. And that's a pretty devastating play for that marksman, because now they're either forced to flash, or if they don't have flash, to use anything that they can to stay alive, because now they're face to face with the tanks and in range of your marksman and whatnot. So he does make a great flank player just because of that skill.
All right. So trample. I didn't realize. Okay, so he begins channel. Is it? It's not channel. It's just he activates a small AOE that does a small amount of
Does
damage.
no damage.
It's there's no fucking damage, but as long as that AOE is hitting an enemy champion after 5 seconds, is it 5 seconds? How long do you have to do at 5 tramples? Oh, it's so it starts stacking.
You
Okay,
get stacks. So you get 5 stacks. They tick every half second.
right,
So you get 10 ticks over 5 seconds. Best way to put it.
right, and then your next auto attack is gonna stun them for 1 second. So that's what I was saying. Like, if you want to take glacial and you do your combo and that ice field is down, like
They're not getting out of that.
they're not gonna
that's
get
for
away
sure.
from the trample.
That's true. That's true. I hadn't thought about that.
I also did not realize he's ghosted when that happens.
I don't think I realized that either. I may have known it, but not really realized that. I didn't realize he could walk through minions.
That's actually very helpful because I did not know that. So there's probably been a million times. I don't play Alistar that much, but I'm sure there've been times where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna run around the minions because I don't know the fucking. Felt stupid.
Right, right, right.
So okay, so let me ask, what do you think? How does this kit? How is it? How does it feel in 2022 when you have champions that can fly everywhere across the map?
Right now, in the way the game's played, it's too enchanter heavy. And Alistar doesn't do well against disengaged champions. And I think that he doesn't have a spot right now. But I do think that he is a viable champion in any game mode if picked into the right team, for sure.
And then of course his ultimate, which is he just takes reduced damage. He cleanses all crowd control, and then for 7 seconds he gets damage reduction. I can't remember 70 at max rank. It's again, I don't think you're ever gonna get to level 16. That's gonna be rare. But 75% damage reduction is pretty insane.
It's pretty huge. I mean, even 65% is pretty huge. And the cleanse that you get out of it too.
That's probably the best fucking part.
So that's the whole reason like people like to flank with him, because it's like, okay, cool, I just annihilated your marksman, and now you're gonna try to kill me, and I'm gonna cleanse out of it and reduce all the damage, and then I'm just going to be a massive tank for the next 7 seconds, which is pretty long in a team fight.
Yeah, you're gonna get everybody to fucking blow your. I like the one we're looking at. Is the cleanse fucking GP orange? You see that?
Yeah, it says GP. That's what they use for
Oh
cleanse,
my God.
because it's the same kind of cleanse. It cleanses everything.
Sure. That's funny they use the fucking remove scurvy though.
Right.
Okay.
And I am looking down at the details here. It does say that true damage cannot be reduced, obviously.
Sure.
And Unbreakable Will's modifier to incoming damage stacks additively with Vladimir's Hemoplague for a total reduction of 45, 55, 65. So if you get Hemoplagued or you take 10% more damage, it literally just
Drops it by
the
10.
damage reduction by 10. Yeah.
Interesting.
One of the notes I forgot to mention on Trample, on his E, is that it is considered an on hit and can proc Wit's End and Ginsu's ghost attacks. They're phantom hits.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yes. And I forgot about that, and that reminded me of the on hit builds you would see sometimes with Jungle Alistar, because he needs damage to clear the jungle monsters. Fucking stupid.
I think I tried Jungle Alistar one time and it was hot garbage. I think that was weird.
It used to be better.
You could probably do it. Honestly, you could probably do it now. There's so much sustain in the jungle.
That's true. You would just need like a good hard leash for the first camp or two, and then you could probably do it easily.
Well, I know what I'm playing tonight.
But beyond that, there's not much more to Alistar. He's a pretty simple guy. Obviously, he's got some interesting plays. He's a big user of Hex Flash. Actually, a very important user of Hex Flash. And yeah, I don't have much else to say about him. I don't know. What you got anything else?
Well, let's take a look at what he was like on release.
Oh man. So this is a good one. This one's funny.
So his passive used to be
Passive and his E basically flip.
Yeah. After using the ability, Alistar becomes ghosted and tramples the ground for 3 seconds. Okay, and then so it didn't do the stun. It just did a small AOE, and it did double damage. Oh, and it damaged structures. Did not know that.
I did not know that.
Doubled against minions. Okay, so back then, I mean, top lane Alistar was probably a thing.
Yeah, top lane Alistar, again, jungle Alistar was a thing then too. Just because of the ghosting, you could just run through shit. And also his AP ratios were a little bit more generous.
Pulverize looks like it was the same.
Pulverize, yeah.
So
it's the knock up and the stun with the same. I think even the damage is the same. The cooldown's pretty close.
Headbutt.
The same.
That's the same. Triumphant War. Okay, so his E used to be a heal on cooldown, so you can use it.
Yes.
60
with a much more healing.
Wow, 60 starting base 60
plus 20 AP, so you would see a lot of AP Alistar.
Oh, but the cooldown reduction was reduced whenever an enemy dies. So minions died.
Right.
Damn, that's broken.
Here's the other thing though. Your allies didn't get healed as much as Alistar did, where now it's reversed. Now Alistar heals allies more than he heals himself.
Right, okay, so it was 33% of the amount.
Yes.
Okay.
So his heal to your allies was trash, but he could also heal minions or neutral monsters. He could actually destroy a smite by healing a dragon or a baron. So that's also important to note.
And then Unbreakable Will used to give bonus AD. Interesting.
Oh, I forgot about that. Totally forgot about that.
There was like no point to that. I feel like, wow. 60, 75, 90.
Oh, here's some old stuff too. I see Colossal Strength, the first iteration. Alistar's massive size gives him bonus health.
What was this?
That must have been a passive.
Interesting.
And then Colossal Strength, the second iteration, Alistar deals 20, 40, 60% bonus damage to turrets. Yeah, that must have been a passive.
And which was replaced by Trample.
Yes, which was replaced. Yes, it says first eye and second eye. I'm assuming that's either iteration or innate for passive. I think they weren't called passive. I think they were called innate abilities.
Sure.
And then his original, very, very first ulti before it was Unbreakable Will was Ferocious Howl. Yeah, Alistar howls with fury, removing all crowd control effects, affecting him becoming immune to spells. So obviously the damage reduction I think is better because there's a lot of champions that just auto attack anyways. Like that's only good against mages, right?
Sure.
Or spell casting. Like it would be good against like a Lucian or maybe a Jhin, but only for a limited amount of time. But and then it says deep sniff. I don't know what that is or was. And that
I know
probably was
exactly
scrapped.
what that was, friend. You know what they were doing back in 2009.
Oh, well, they're farting in each other's faces, but I don't know if you're taking a deep sniff.
That sounds like deep sniff sounds like in the Richard Nixon, like what was the person's
Deep
name?
Throat?
Deep Throat. There's Deep Sniff, like he was undercover.
Yeah. Yeah.
Deep
That's funny.
Sniff and Deep Throat. Okay.
That's funny.
So that does it for Alistar.
Yeah, what do you guys think about him? Do you guys still play him?
I'm sure there's like one person out there that does.
Right.
Alrighty, and before we get into Annie, we are going to take a quick ad break, so stick around. Alrighty.
And we're back with Annie.
We're back. By the way, we're trying something new with that, guys, so
Yep.
sorry if that's a little different. We're just trying something out, so
Yep.
hopefully no problem.
But
All right.
Annie, the Dark Child, released on the same date as Alistar. To remind everybody, that is February 21st of 2009.
2009.
Yeah, that's a while ago.
Yeah, we had no idea this game existed back then.
Nope. And this was, I think, still in beta.
No, yeah, for sure was still.
It wasn't even in open beta. It was in closed beta, I think. But we know a lot about Annie. She's been around for a long time. And yeah, so the passive, they do call it innate. So that's another word for passive. So Annie's passive, Pyromania. Annie generates a stack of Pyromania whenever she casts an ability, stacking up to 4 times, at which she gains Energized. When energized, when Annie succeeds in her next cast damaging ability, she consumes all Pyromania stacks and stuns enemies hit for 1 1/4 to 1 3/4 based on level seconds. Annie loses Energized and all Pyromania stacks upon death. That's a pretty big important part of her kit, and I think that's always been a big part of her kit, really. I don't think there's another way to put it.
No, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure since spoiler, there weren't that many changes between release Annie and now.
Really?
I believe you could before there wasn't, because now they have the bar. There's like another resource bar, and you could literally tell when Annie's stun is up. But back then, you'd have to click on the character underneath their resource bar.
She would have a little cloud or field of like smoke around her.
But some people would not be able to see that. Now it's like straight under her mana bar. There's 4 stacks.
Right, like Jhin and Graves, and they're doing that with a lot of champions, and I actually prefer that anyways. It's easier to see, a lot more clarity.
Right.
But we'll move down to her Q, Disintegrate. Annie hurls a fireball at the target enemy that, upon arrival, deals them magic damage. If Disintegrate kills its target, half the cooldown is reduced, and the mana cost is refunded. That's like her main farming tool, and it's extremely important.
I remember when I started playing this game, everyone was like, "Oh, just play Annie."
Yeah.
Easy, simple.
Right.
Easy to learn to farm with her.
I was looking for her attack range. I think it's either there it is, 625. She has a really long attack range. I think it's actually longer than Caitlyn's attack range. And this spell carries the same range too, which is nice.
Let's take a look. Yeah, they're the same. Or no.
It's Caitlyn 650
is
or 600?
650.
Okay. So I lied. Slightly less than Caitlyn's, but
pretty insane.
That's a pretty good thing. Oh, one thing to note. with her auto attack is, I think it's her auto attack can go over wind wall. Either her auto attack or her Q. One of them goes over wind wall.
I think it might.
Don't know why.
Can't remember because it's a. Oh, I don't think they count that as projectile. It's weird. It's like I think I told you that one time. Like Senna's Q, or excuse me, Senna's auto attack isn't a projectile. It's literally she sticks onto the target and yanks. It's not she's not shooting.
Annie's is the only one that didn't make sense.
Because I know also Vex. I believe Vex's auto attacks can reach through wind walls.
Yeah. Let me look here. I just saw the thing. Wind wall. Oh, sorry. Let's see. While maxed, Incinerate deals more damage to Disintegrate. This comes a higher mana cost as well as a reliable farm. However, against enemies who can block Disintegrate, such as Yasuo, Incinerate or W can be maxed for more poke. Given that, okay, that's what it is. W bypasses Wind Wall. I'm sorry, not Q. So that's her next skill, which is just a cone of fire.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not technically a projectile, which I think is silly because that should realistically be able to bypass or should be stopped by Wind Wall, but it's not. So if you're playing against Yasuo, Annie's always a good pick.
I think, yeah. I mean, so again, nothing crazy, and I'm pretty sure the biggest change is what they did to her E and Tibbers, which is, spoiler, not that big anyways, surprisingly.
Right.
So the E is the Molten Shield. Before, it would only apply to herself and Tibbers, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
And it gave her damage reduction, flat damage reduction, right?
Yep.
But
And
now,
I don't remember if it had thorns on it or not.
maybe.
But now it has thorns.
Now?
Yeah.
It has thorns, really?
Yeah. When you attack her while she has a shield up, you actually take damage.
Oh,
That's not a
okay.
whole lot of damage.
For some reason, I thought it was Grievous wounds.
No, no, not Grievous. Just thorns. Reflection damage.
So when I
whatever
think
you
of
wanna call it.
thorns, I think of Thorn Mail. That's why I'm.
My bad. Thorns is
no,
just
I'm
an
dumb.
old RPG. I mean, the
Yeah.
mechanic's the same, but Grievous Wounds is exclusive to League. But neither here nor there. It does deal damage back to you when you attack her while it's up, or Tibbers, or whoever she puts it on.
Yeah, so it went from a flat amount of damage reduction to a shield, which again can be casted on an ally now, which is pretty big. I think that was a good change.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to push her back to a support, but
I don't know if they're trying to push her to support, but trying to give her at least an option to play support where she had been pushed out of. In favor of champions like Brand and Zyra that do similar things, other burst mages. They said, okay, let's give her an opportunity to be back down there, even though no one plays her as support anyways.
I can't remember the last time I saw an Annie aside from like an ARAM.
Right, it's been a hot minute. And then of course her ulti. We all know her ulti. That's summoning Tibbers. Tibbers is his own character. He's a pet. He's controllable by Annie. Tibbers can stun. That's the big thing to her kit, is when you want to go all in on somebody, you drop the Tibbers, you drop the E, and then you blow your you blow every spell that you have, and you should be able to 100-0 most maybe not bruisers, but most fighters and marksmen and other mages.
And of course, the biggest change they did is when Annie dies, not only does Tibbers stay alive, but he becomes in a frenzy and he starts chasing after enemies. Because prior,
Yes,
he would die when Annie died.
Yep. And that frenzied bear is kind of scary sometimes.
It's actually OP, dude.
It's pretty fucking strong.
Again, I only see her rarely on ARAMs, but like, I've died to just Tibbers running at me like a fucking psychopath.
Right, and Tibbers actually has his own set of stats, which is great and hilarious. But his stats are pretty similar to just like a basic champion with no items, but he does have his own set of stats. And the thing I forgot, I don't know if Tibbers used to do this, but he does emanate magic damage as a AoE. Just for being near him, he damages you even without attacking. But then he also attacks. I believe he gets 15% of Annie's AP on his basic attack. Yeah, there it is. He does 50, 75 to 100 plus 15% AP ratio. And his aura is 5, 7.5, 10 plus 3% AP ratio. So it's not a big damage for the aura. That's just like an extra tool. And that pops every quarter second.
You want to run away from this thing.
Yep.
Or kill it really fast as you can.
Wait, I did not know Tibbers healed himself out of combat.
Oh,
6% max health per second.
I think
and
that
he
sounds
gets
right.
250 bonus move speed out of combat. Did not know that.
I think I knew that. I think it's like similar to like how the maiden, Yorick's maiden, can heal after like return to. I don't know, something similar like that. Except of course Tibbers is only alive for 45 seconds.
Yeah.
So yeah, a little bit shorter than Alistar, but
Oh, also we forgot to mention too, when Andy dies, when Tibbers is active, he does heal himself for 50% of his missing health.
yeah, instantly, right?
And then he's enraged for 10 seconds and will target Annie's killer. His health will rapidly decay over time if Annie's killer is too far away. He'll target the nearest lowest health enemy champion instead. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. There's not a whole lot on Annie.
So how do you feel about her holding up in 2022?
That's a good question. She still plays well into champions like Yasuo and Yoni. She plays really well into Fizz too. Any mobile champion, Annie's like a good stopper because your Q is a targeted stun at 4 stacks. So she still plays pretty well. She probably actually plays decent into Irelia if she can stop Irelia before Irelia blows her cheeks up. I don't know.
I think my only problem is there just might be champions that are better at what she does.
She's very basic for sure. I will say Annie does have some of the coolest skins, like Reverse Annie, Little Red Riding Annie. Franken Tibbers is great.
Yeah, it is.
Anniversary is good. She's got a lot of good skins. And that's one of my favorite things about this champion.
And I think that will do it.
Yeah.
So let us know what you think, guys. Like, write in. We're check out the link tree as we always say. We have all our links there. Rate the podcast. 5 stars will help.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts on these champions.
While we're at it, let me double check Apple Podcasts. Make sure.
I haven't seen anything in there.
No, but yeah, write in, guys. We're always looking now. I swear to God, we're on it. But yeah, let us know if you guys like this. Fuck it. I wasn't gonna put a poll in this, but let's put a poll. Like, are you guys interested
this
in
format?
This format. This, like, we'll call it a segment.
Right.
That's gonna be an
Series.
additional episode. Sure.
Series.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Next week we're gonna tackle Ash and Fiddlesticks, which would be pretty good because I know Fiddlesticks.
That'll be probably a little bit of a longer episode because there's a lot of changes. I mean, Ash is more or less the same, but Fiddlesticks
got a big rework. So
yeah,
guys, stay tuned for another episode this week. Might be a little bit different. We're thinking about talking about other games we've been playing.
Yep.
Whenever League gets shitty, it's always shitty, but when it gets really shitty. And yeah, guys, stay tuned, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
Later, y'all.